Yeah, man. HOLOLOOO. Yeah, man. Yeah. Arbole il est bas fait tout. HOLOLOOO. Yeah, man. HOLOLOOO. HOLOLOOO. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. HOLOLOOO. Yeah, man. HOLOLOOO. Yeah, man. Got him busting the mix. Yabolo Mafit. As you guys can see the net. Yabolo Mafit Yamajide no last. But anyway, Mafit, I made this video to talk about the new cannabis bill Mafit. There's a video on YouTube, more DJs Buangayo, and Tony. So I wanna hear you guys what's your opinion about ganja being legalized, for personal use? Go high, man. It's a start, go high. Because now I use ganja when I'm cutting the grass, when I'm jogging. And like I use ganja every day though. Every day I use ganja for my own personal reason now. Which I don't want to disclose online. Because I was out about Bajwa. So yeah, my feet. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe my feet. I pass your one right on. I subscribe so please my feet, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Boom. Let's tune into the video. Yeah, man.
So I did a video, I think it was about a year ago here on YouTube. Go check it out. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you once again for being a part of the family. We are now boasting over 100,000 subscribers. Thanks to you. Go subscribe on the podcast as well, The Hustlers Corner. We are now on 250,000 subscribers. The video that I did, I think it was last year, the year before, I'm not sure. It was talking about the opportunity in the Dagga space, in the cannabis space. From acquiring the license to being the person that breeds, what do they call it? Breeders, right? I don't know what language is used in the cannabis space, but basically, in my space, being somebody who's in the drinks or beverages manufacturing industry, we call it manufacturing. So basically where you actually get to grow the cannabis itself. People do it differently, right? And there's modernized ways on how they do it. And what I found over the past couple of years after I did that video was it's going to be a very, very lucrative industry. It's already been lucrative. People that are in the cannabis industry overseas are making millions and millions of dollars, of euros and pounds. And it's about to get crazy here even in South Africa. But we all know how things work, right? We're in a capitalistic society. And before certain bills get passed and get signed into law by the president, you do know there's already been some players lurking behind the scenes who have been either lobbying for that bill to be passed and to be signed into law, or using their money or influence to make sure that they become first in line. As you and I both know, or some people who've tried to get into that industry, that it's not easy to acquire a cannabis license in South Africa. And be that as it may, the licenses that have come out are less than 100. I remember at the time when I did the video, they were like less than 30 or so. And out of those less than 30, it was only 1 or 2 that were black owned. But 90-something% of those licenses at the time, it's a couple of years later, I can imagine. But I'm still not sure if the licenses that have been issued by the government are over 100. Even if they are over 100 by now, I'm still definitely sure that there's less than 5% of Abantu Mnyama's participation in the space. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of dispensaries. I'm seeing a lot of people who are in the industry for medicinal cannabis. But the people that we see in the front of those stores, or the people that get to sell these brands, or some of the celebrities that use their influence to come up with their own edibles, or coming up with their own strand, etc. It's people just in the front. But the people that grow it and the people that are in the real beneficiary, that are really benefiting behind the scenes, they've used their money to lobby for that bill to be passed through, and most of the times, not only in the cannabis space, in all these other different industries, they work with politicians, and they've used their money to make sure that they're first in line. So with that being said, it doesn't mean there isn't opportunity in the cannabis space. There still is. And that's the reason why I want to read this article. Sorry, my phone is now locked. Let me ask you to unlock it in the meantime so that I can read you guys the article. I'm not trying to discourage anybody from getting into this industry. It's still early days. Even the people that are just in the front, or the people that are just influencing, or the people that are just running the front store ends, and maybe they get supplied by whoever, someone, they're still also going to make a lot of money. But the best way is for us to participate in the entire value chain, which brings me to this article, which was, I think it was yesterday or Saturday, just this past weekend anyway. President Cyril Ramaphosa signed the Cannabis for Private Purposes Act, the CPPA, just a day before the 2024 general elections, rendering South Africa the first African country to legalize cannabis. The CPPA eliminates cannabis off the list of illegal drugs. Apart from adults now being able to cultivate and consume it, people who in the past violated the law by growing and using cannabis will supposedly have their records erased. How beautiful is that? So, if you went to prison because of intsango back then, because it was illegal, they are saying here, according to this article, sorry, let me read here. Apart from adults now being able to cultivate and consume it, people who in the past violated the law by growing and using cannabis will supposedly have their criminal records erased. But it is illegal to sell the plant. That's the most important part that I wanted to emphasize on. With as much as it has been passed on to law, and us in our minds, and we pass on information verbally, and we do these social media videos or internet videos, we're saying it's now legal, it's now legal, it's now legal. You have to understand this for you to even before you even start trading it or getting into the space. Understand what the law says, because the last thing you want is to get yourself involved in many you did not understand. Cannabis now legal in South Africa. I've done the first video. Go check it out. I actually put the link in the description of that video. Let's get into this one now. Now I'm about to read the article that just came out this past weekend from the Saturday Star, the early edition. President Cyril Ramaphosa has signed Cannabis Private Purposes Act, which is the CPPA, just a day before the 2024 general elections, rendering South Africa the first African country to legalize cannabis. The CPPA eliminates cannabis off the list of illegal drugs. Apart from adults now being able to cultivate and consume it, people who in the past violated the law by growing and using cannabis will supposedly have their records erased. I repeat, apart from adults now being able to cultivate and consume it, people who in the past violated the law by growing and using cannabis will supposedly have their criminal records erased. This one is great news because we know how many people got into prison over the past couple of decades. So the president has just signed into law this bill just before the elections. Let me continue with this article, then we'll just discuss it afterwards. The CPPA criminalizes smoking cannabis in public or selling it, and sets limits on how much cannabis individuals may own for private use and cultivation. That is the CMS law. Open quote, for a person living alone, the bill prescribes a maximum of 600 grams of cannabis and 1.2 kilograms for 2 or more adults in the same household. Close quote. Cannabis is a mind-altering psychoactive substance derived from the cannabis sativa plant. It contains over 480 components. The THC, which is the delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, is thought to be the primary psychoactive component, because you hear people talking about CBD, we hear people talking about the THC. The THC is that it's the one that gives you the high, right? Remember, guys, there's also the medicinal cannabis that people are trading currently. But this law does not necessarily say in public, you need to understand these laws first. As I always say, that before you get into any business, do your due diligence and proper research first into that business. It's like, for instance, big business, or let me say wealthy billionaires, what they do is they lobby politicians for certain bills to be passed on to law. Because bona they know, they already have got their ducks in the row, that when this thing gets passed into law, they're already 100 steps ahead of everybody else. Because they've already been preparing and they've already been using their money to lobby for this bill to be passed through. I'm not saying it's the case with the cannabis law, but I mean, come on, you and I both know how billionaires roll, right? Anyway, continuing with this Saturday Star article. Anything psychoactive is a drug or substance that affects how the brain operates and produces changes in mood, consciousness, thoughts, feelings, or behavior. Cannabis has long been said to have health benefits, which include the benefits of cannabis now: lowering blood pressure, reducing inflammation, preventing relapse in drug and alcohol addiction, treating anxiety disorders, treating digestive problems, preventing seizures, fighting cancer. A lot of cannabis dispensaries have popped up across the country. You've been seeing them due to Section 22A of the Medications Act, which allows doctors to prescribe alternative medications, including cannabis, with a 6-month renewal period. The IOL, which is a news network, spoke to young people about the use and legalization of cannabis.